looks like this beach was a little too much beach for you, Ken.
If I wasn't severely injured, I would beat you off right now, Ken.
I'll beach off with you any day, Ken.
Anyone who wants to beach him off has to beach me off first.
I will beach both of you off at the same time.
Beat both of us off?
Nobody's gonna beach anyone off.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is finally here. The magical weekend that we have been waiting for months and months on end. It is finally the time that we finally get to grace ourselves with the beauty and glory of Barbie versus Oppenheimer. If you don't know, these two movies came out the same day. It's been a huge meme for a while. Everyone's been so excited about it, and it's finally here. I obviously, as you could tell, went to the more mature movie first, and obviously the superior movie. Why go see a movie directed by one of the best directors working today when I could go to the theater and watch Ryan Gosling dress as Ken for 2 hours?
All my life been so polite, 'cause I'm just kidding.
It's a no-brainer. But as you can assume, today we are going to be talking about the brand new and really highly anticipated movie Barbie. And this film was directed by Greta Gerwig and stars Margot Robbie. And this film is set in the dreamlike world of Barbie Land, and it's from here that we follow ordinary Barbie, played by Margot Robbie, and Ken, played by Ryan Gosling. And in this world, everything is perfect, how it should be. Everything is perfect and magical, until it isn't. Strange occurrences start happening where Barbie realizes that the world may not be all sunshine and rainbows, to a point where she has to travel to the real world to figure out what's going on. Now that is the most basic description I could possibly give for this movie, because this one is a weird one. No one and their mother knew what this movie was gonna be about. When it got announced and we saw the trailers, I sure as hell had no idea what the hell this movie was gonna be about. It very much made it feel like this was not going to be a movie for children, especially the way it was advertised. It was a very strange advertising campaign, but it was really good. A lot of really good, like, I guess, anticipation, because people are like, what is this movie? Like, what is going on? Because, you know, when you hear the name Barbie, and you know that they're making a Barbie movie, you have very specific expectations going into it. It's gonna be girly, it's just gonna be one of those, like, oh, dumb comedy movies that's just probably not gonna be that great. And I'm sitting here gonna tell you that not only did I like this movie, I kinda loved this movie for a lot of different reasons that I'm going to get into. This movie is not what you expect it is. Like, if you've seen the trailers, you only have a fraction of what this movie is really going for. This movie is a comedy, I will say that right now, but it is definitely more of a psychological movie than just your ordinary kids movie. I wouldn't even say this is a kids movie, to be honest with you. Do your research before you actually bring your kids, for all the families out there. Because I had a lot of families in my showing, and I couldn't help but feel that the kids were just so confused throughout the entire movie, because this movie is really not what you expect. Now, the first thing I do want to talk about when it comes to this movie is the cast, because I don't think you could have picked a better stacked cast if you tried. There are so many talented actors in this movie, and they all do such a great job. Specifically Margot Robbie, I actually think that she may be in Oscar contention. Like, it's so weird to say because it's a Barbie movie, but she brings so much emotion to this movie, and it has such a... It's very hard to explain without, like, directly spoiling it, but she acts the shit out of this role. She is giving it her all here, and you see that in the movie. I think she did amazing in this movie. She did a great friggin' job. And also, oh my god, Ryan Gosling as Ken may have been one of the most perfect casting choices I've ever seen, like, period. He was hysterical in this movie. Every scene with him, I was either dying of laughter or just had a huge grin on my face. He was perfect. His mannerisms, his sense of humor, his just kind of childlike innocence was hilarious to me. Definitely the best part of the movie, in my opinion, and the biggest standout, and the person who brought most of the comedy, I would say, in this movie. He delivered on another level, just like Margot. And while I'm on those two, I just want to say, these two actors have such electric chemistry together. They are so freaking good together. Every time they're on screen, the movie just gets infinitely better. And that doesn't even mean that the movie besides that is bad. The movie is good besides that, but when it's them on screen, it's just taken to another level. It's so freaking good. It's hilarious. And also, I do want to say some of the supporting cast in this movie are really good too. You know, you got Michael Cera just standing there awkwardly the entire movie. And then you got Simu Liu is also in the movie for a little bit. I thought he was really cool. And then Will Ferrell, I also thought was really hilarious. I have a soft spot for him, so seeing that he was in this movie made me really happy, and he was pretty funny, in my opinion, in the movie. Another thing I really wanted to highlight in this movie was its sets. They are amazing in this movie, because naturally, in a Barbie movie, they're gonna live in a Barbie world where, I didn't mean to do that, I hate myself. Oh, that's not funny. Anyway, but seeing that they're in a Barbie world, everything's gonna kind of look like a toy, so everything's gonna look plastic, and it's gonna have certain limitations, and it's gonna look a certain way, and they really nailed it. I have no idea how they got it to look this good and vibrant, and just so real. Like, I don't know if it was miniatures involved that they used, or they actually just went and made literally everything, but it was fan-friggin-tastic to look at. It was so well made in that aspect, and I can't give them enough credit for it. It looked so freaking good. And also, the freaking dance choreography in this movie was fantastic. Like, it's a lot more than just the typical kids movie sort of thing where it's just a very basic musical number. They put their all into it. Ryan Gosling and Simu Liu, especially in one of these sequences, does an incredible job. And that just comes down to the cinematography in general and just the damn choreography that they're given. It's electric. It's so good. And that applies to the bass soundtrack as well. It is very much just a bunch of pop songs, but they work because this is a Barbie movie, so they very much feel in place. And I gotta say too, I know I've already kind of said this, but this movie is friggin' hilarious. If that was from the characters or little sight gags in the background or little things you could pick up, everything was just friggin' hilarious. And a lot of things I actually think are really gonna fly over kids' heads.
Thought I might stay over tonight.
Why?
Because we're girlfriend, boyfriend.
To do what?
Which is another reason why I don't think that this movie is necessarily made for children, because there are a lot of really, I would say, adult jokes in this movie, and I really mean that. There are a lot. But I gotta say, there's one joke in this movie that literally had my jaw to the ground. I'm not gonna specifically spoil what it is, but they're basically bashing a certain group of toxic fans on the internet that apply to one director in particular. You may know who he is just from me mentioning it. I had the biggest smile on my face. I'm like, oh my god, the Mad Lads did it. Like, I can't believe it.
You did it. You crazy son of a bitch.
But 100% without a doubt, I think the best thing about this movie is its themes. Because like I said, I don't think this movie is for kids. I really don't. I don't think that this should be a movie that you take your 5-year-old kid to watch. And that's because this movie deals with a lot of really, really deep themes that I was not expecting. It's just a very interesting sort of scenario where it's supposed to be this very kiddish and wonderful thing, but it's also extremely dark with some of its themes. And the movie really at its core is just about identity. It's about living life to the fullest and living the life you want to have. It's all about being your own person and discovering that for yourself. And it was a really good message, and it was very well done, especially compared to usual movies where it's very surface level. This movie digs really deep into those messages, and it's really, really good. There's a lot of really great messages in this movie about stereotypes and breaking stereotype-like roles. When it tackles these stereotype themes, it never goes and does it in a way where it feels disrespectful, where I very much could feel in certain movies like this when they're, say, maybe bashing men, or they're bashing women sometimes. You don't want it to come off as almost disrespectful or like you're purposely trying to make people angry, because sometimes movies will try and do this and it backfires completely because people just feel like, oh, well, screw you then, you're just making fun of me and you're making it feel like this big malicious way and being very, very rude and mean about it. And I think this movie finds a really fine balance of coming off as just not offensive at all or insensitive. It's funny and it's smart. It's not supposed to be taken seriously to a point where you're getting angry because you're like, oh, they're making jokes about me. No, it's just a stereotype. And that's the point of the movie's trying to break, is that those stereotypes are bad. And there's not only just a lot of messages about stereotypes, there's a lot of messages about consumerism and just motherhood in general. And another really good part of this movie was just life in general. And the fact that we are all going through our own lives. We have our own insecurities. We have our own flaws. And that's just what makes us human. This movie movie is trying to get off the message that we shouldn't be insecure of who we are. We shouldn't be insecure about our height, you know, we shouldn't be insecure about maybe the color of our hair, stuff like that, little things that irk us, because in reality, we are all human. And the fact of the matter is that one day, we're all gonna die. We're going through life just like everyone else, and we shouldn't be held down by these stereotypes of who we should be because that's what someone says we're supposed to be. It's to be someone who we want to be. And it's beautiful in this movie. It's honestly done very, very well. And it was very deep, and I actually think that for the most part, this might actually get some people to cry. It didn't make me cry per se, but I did have some people in my theater who were tearing up because they do such a great job with these messages and they make them feel so profound. And going on to some of the negatives, I really don't have that many. The one thing that I will say about this movie is that this movie is not for everyone. If you literally have no interest in this movie, I'd maybe say don't go see it, but if you have genuine interest in this movie, I still say you should go see it because it really surprised me, because honestly, I thought it was just gonna be a big meme. I thought it was gonna be good because the director is great and she's done some really great things. It's gonna be one of those meme movies where we go and watch, we laugh, and we have a good time, you know, that one of those things, but it really blew me out of the water for what it was able to accomplish with these messages of identity and all these different themes that just work so goddamn well that I discussed before, and I feel like I'm rambling, so I'm gonna stop. But all in all, I'm really just gonna end it here. I thought this movie was really great and surpassed my expectations in every way. I highly recommend this movie to anyone who's interested in this movie, and that's why I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely go see this movie. See Oppenheimer as well, but definitely see this movie. It's really good and it's very surprising. And I really liked it, and I really actually want to see it again just to see if I can get anything more out of it because I thought it was great. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe down below for more content on the channel coming pretty soon. There will be an Oppenheimer review sometime this weekend because, you know, how can I not review that as well the same weekend? So just keep an eye out for that, but I hope you have yourself a great day.